Yeah. Oh, I think we are already live.
Wonderful.
We always have such a weird way of starting. I see all these people, they start so professionally, and then I'm always like, okay, is this working? Is that working? It's like, what did I forget? And oops, oh yeah, we already live.
I like starting the way we do because it's authentic and it's not scripted. So you get we are who
Yeah.
we are on and off.
Yeah, but sometimes I think if I see people who are only 20 minutes on our call, it's like, oops, we chased them away. Well,
I always look at it, it's midday and maybe they have to run to do something.
okay, well, that's a positive way of looking at it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we know we can't change it the way we do it anyway. This is just us. So let's introduce us. I am Toni Weel. I am on the path or on the journey of health, on a health journey, with doing my best to be 100% fruitarian. I have my slip-ups and I pay dearly for it. And we have Sarah from Virtuous Unicorns with us, who pretty much knows as much as I do, and sometimes even more about, especially the Bible part. And she is a student of Dr. Morse too, by learning a lot. We both do. We love to interact with each other. And here we are. So you can ask whatever question that you like. It is, we called it the health Q&A, but it's gotten more to life's truths, which is also the tagline of a new platform we're setting up that's going to be called Garden of Eden.social, and where I need some help with. So if there are any volunteers, then please do connect with me. So this is it. And of course, as usually, I have not even thought about what are we going to talk about today, because yesterday and this morning I had no internet. My whole modem was like, I don't know you. I don't want to do anything for you. So I was early this morning again on the phone with Comcast, and now they finally gonna send out a technician on Saturday. So we shall see. The weird part is that the problems I have with internet connection, it's off and on. It can work for a day, 2 days, sometimes only 2 hours, and then it's off, and then you call in. So we shall see if it still works on Saturday, but I'm happy to be here today because I was like, okay, if I don't have internet, maybe I can go to this friend, or I can go into the park and see if I have a connection to be able to do this, because I want to be here. I love being here. I love, chatting with you guys and with Sarah. So did you think about anything you wanted to talk about, Sarah? Oh, I see just a question. What's Dr. Moore's views on, ear candling? He says do it. He even sells those candles. They are not necessarily of getting the wax out of your ears. That is a misconception, actually. And that is more because what people do after the candle burned up is looking at how much wax is in there. And sometimes there is a little in there, but don't forget, these are wax candles. So you have the wax from the candle in the well, that last part. Sometimes there is a filter in there. So you're not doing it for that. It is relaxing and it helps with the lymph moving in your head. And if you want to hear exactly what Dr. Moore says about it, go to rawfigs.com, rawfigs.com. And I know he talks about, well, thank you, Sarah.
Try to be on it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if you don't put the HTTP in front of it, it's not clickable, but
Nope.
you can just copy it, paste it. So have you thought of anything that you would love to talk about?
Of course. I always got stuff. What I was going to say though about the ear candling on that too is it's definitely, if you're having like any kind of fluid in your ears, that's the stagnated lymph coming out. That I suffer from it. My husband does as well too. And the other thing I was going to ask you that would be another question is, you know how like say you lean your head on something that's kind of like has a print, and then when you pull your head away, you have that print on your head still. And sometimes, like most people, it goes away kind of shortly. But what about those people that print stays there for a little bit of time and it's like on your forehead? Is that like where we're carrying that stagnated lymph in our face?
I would think so. It's like you have a little edema there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, yeah.
But somebody that suffers a lot, like I wear tall boots when I go over to the horse all the time because, you know, the grass is tall, it's wet and stuff like that sometimes, but mainly from mosquitoes and whatnot. But if it's during like the hot of the day where I guess my legs are a little bit more, I don't know, I don't want to say swollen because they're not swollen, but when I take my boot off, I'll have a mark there and that mark will last for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes and then it goes away. I just always wondered, like, is it edema? Is it lymph? Or I'm not sure
I
because
think it has to do with your kidneys not filtering adequately.
yeah.
That is where it always goes back to. It's the same as when you put, your little swollen foot, or your foot is a little swollen. That is how I wanted to say it. And you put your thumb on there and it leaves kind of a white spot for a few seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that you have some fluid built up there. And that has usually to do your kidneys not filtering adequately. And so I don't want to call it right away, you have edema. It's like everything seems to have a word. The only thing that we have is acidosis.
Correct.
So,
Well, edema though would be like a descriptive of like you have built up a fluid somewhere. So would that fluid still be lymph?
I would think so.
Okay. Because that was my next question then, what would be the difference between the lymph fluid and edema?
That's a good question. And I have to look that up because I don't know.
Yeah, it's just something I was just thinking about now as we were talking. Because that's interesting because I do see that in people, like if they take something off, like especially socks, I'll see it on people with their socks and things like that. And it's just something we always just thought was normal again. That
Yeah,
I think
at
we all
any
knew it
time,
wasn't, but
right. At any time that you see that, you know that the kidneys are not filtering good.
yeah.
So the lymph is stagnated. And if you would ask me, and if I see, what is all in your leg, the blood, the veins, and the lymph channels, you call it a channel, I would think. It's like, what is outside of that? I think all the fluids are inside. The blood is inside the veins, and the lymph is inside the lymph channels. So it's the funny thing is I do have edema on the leg that I heard earlier this year when I felt really bad. And it's like if I am 100% fruit, I can see it getting smaller. It is so amazing. And yet my kidneys are barely, if any, filtering. So it's still, we can still heal even though the kidneys are not doing their work 100%. Yeah, Grant, you mentioned, it's just excessive fluids from salts. I don't think so. I mean, we know that salt is actually a toxin, and we shouldn't even get it unless it comes from fruit or veggies. But I don't use any salt. And although there is some salt if I eat a soup, yeah, there is salt in there. But yeah, I don't know, but that is not excessive. I mean, what
And
is
I don't do
excessive?
salt at all either.
No, and I don't. It has always been like, oh yeah, you have to go salt free, and and other people need salt. I found that on all fruit, I don't even think about salt. I heard Dr. Morse say something. Well, if you need the salt that bad, then put a little on your mangoes.
Put some of the glass shards on your mangoes to eat.
Yeah, yeah.
Even
And
if I have salt now, like I remember I used to love Tostitos and I can't. The salt just, it's like I
oh,
can't eat them.
I see what Grant meant. He doesn't mean excessive salt, but excessive fluids from salt.
Oh,
Yeah, inflammation is acidosis, Grant. I mean, the allopathic industry calls it inflammation, and we know it's acidosis, but which we all have. I saw another question about Manuka raisins. No, I don't think any raisin is better than the next raisin. The funny thing is, I found a company. I don't know, was it now? Maybe it was nuts.com. They had 5 different types of organic raisins. So I got them all, got a package of all of them, and I just wanted to know about the taste. There was one in it that was all seeds. And of course, I don't see the package right now. I had it here in my office somewhere. It must have, no, it's hidden now. But and I would think, we know raisins they are dried grapes. So I would think that the ones with the seeds, they're quite interesting. And since I like to chew on or nibble, chew on the raisins, but with all the seeds in it, it was not easy. And I heard something this morning about the fruit with the seeds, that it's not about the seeds that you are eating, but that the fruit is just better for your body if it had seeds. And this was related to watermelon. It was in the question and comments in the Fans of Dr. Morse group. And I thought, yeah, of course, that is the way it is. It's not about that you eat the seeds or that you if you use it, that you use the seeds. It is about the fruit is different. And apparently a lot of people get they call it watermelon belly on watermelon because it is not 100%. I do very good on watermelon, absolutely love the juice of it. Don't like to eat watermelon, so I have the juice. And it's actually rather cheap. I mean, you have watermelons right now here are $10, $11, the really big ones, and you get about 5, 6 quarts, liters watermelon out of it. I mean, if you do 2 a day, then that was those are cheap meals.
They are.
And I saw another one about Katie and crystals. I love crystals. I don't know why, but it's like 40 years at least, maybe even 50 years, I always had a crystal. I have it on my nightstand. I have it in my purse. I had one in front of the window. I still do. And I have something like they come from earth, and it's the same with stones. There is energy to it. So yeah, I appreciate the stones, and really using them. No, they're just there. That's for me. That is all. But there is a gentleman, and I want to have him on. What is his name? I want to have him on Garden of Eden. And let me see if I can real quick. His name is Mark. Yeah, I don't find that here right now. I'll let you know if once you take over from me, I will look for him because he is in Australia and he has so much information and good stuff about crystals and about all these stones that if you would want to learn more, then he is the person to go to.
Yeah, I have my stones and I have a bag of little stones, but I haven't carried them for a while. They say too that when you need them, you'll obviously be drawn to them. And when you're done with them, sometimes you just lose it. And then you just don't need that so much anymore. But yeah, I have a little variety of them, and I keep them locked up in a bag.
Well, actually, I have a little shelf here right behind my laptop, and it has what do they call that? They're not polished. They are the way they came from the ground in all kinds of different colors, and I love them the way they are. I have a lot of polished stones too, but yeah, I like these. They call that like raw stones. Maybe they do. I don't know what they are. And to me, it's like, no, it's not really important.
Yep. I wonder too if the stone will come to you when you need it. Like if you're walking and there's that rock there, which
Exactly.
I know that some of them don't, they're not everywhere. You can't get certain kind here or whatnot, but I just wondered.
Okay, I just got a notification of his email coming in. His name is Mark Bajerski, Bajerski. No, Ki. I'm sorry, Bajerski.
I have not heard of him.
And of course, I found that on my phone and not on my laptop. But let me see if I can find it on my laptop too. And then I can put a link in there because he is absolutely great. He's very spiritual, and he does courses and everything.
That's really neat. They're talking about ripe watermelon, and we were lucky enough, which I talked about earlier. I feel like it was like in June where we were able to get watermelon with the black seeds in them that we were used to seeing before. And I think I got a gallon. It was a very large watermelon, but I think I got a gallon of juice out of that one. And then we couldn't get them anymore. I think we were only able to get them for maybe 2-3 weeks. But I guess maybe that was your growing season.
Yeah, I have not had any seeded for years.
I did save some of the seeds, but I don't know if they'll, turn to anything. If they do, this was my first year trying to save any seeds for the watermelon. So I'll see if they turn to anything next summer. And if they do, then I'd be more than happy to send everyone seeds. I'd feel bad sending seeds and if they were dead seeds.
Yeah, I got some seeds from a friend and it was not organic, and I haven't planted them. So I need to do that next year.
And I don't think this was organic either, but
yeah, have you tried to plant your cherry seeds?
I have not. I did save some, but I don't know. I think they were supposed to sprout or something by now, and they didn't. So, and the cherries are kind of, the flavor starting to change already. Yeah, but they're still good, but they're definitely not those ones that I had.
Now, I wonder, we do all these things to help the seeds to sprout them, and that, first have them separate in a little, what do you call that, container, and to see it grow and then plant it. But in nature, these things just fall on the ground and then they sprout. Are we doing it the right way, or should I just, with one of the mangoes, we just put it in the soil in the yard and see what happens?
Did anything happen so far, or you just did it?
I haven't checked. I don't know how long it takes.
Yeah. Debbie said that she did grew a watermelon and saved the seeds, but it didn't get very big. I don't know, maybe like a couple years it takes for them to get that big. Like they start out small or whatnot.
Yeah, probably.
Yep. Katie asked what kind of stones we have. It's been a long time since I've like really sat down and looked at them, but the ones I have that I know are rose quartz, amethyst, of course, the regular just crystal. I believe I have like labradorite, I have snowflake obsidian, lapis. Oh, I don't remember all of them.
No, I don't even know. I used to know because I had drawers full of stones. I don't. And the last crystal I got is actually, I won it on when I was in the Dr. Morse Iridology classes. And I got a really nice one, nice big one from them.
Oh, that's
And
really neat.
it's just sitting on my nightstand. I haven't gotten into it, what exactly the power is, and I should. And I like it is just time wise. I have quite a bit on my plate what I want to do, and it just goes with what is the most important thing right now.
Mhm.
Grant asked about the video of yesterday. Yeah, I can't remember if he's also really into what is it, being a fruitarian. Did he? I forgot if he talked about that. The Derek Johnson.
Mm.
He is going to be on the shows with three people. I told him you don't need them, and he didn't like what I said.
Well, when what's it called? I don't know. I really, really want to word this well, but the pressure of being with somebody that has those kinds of following, like those numbers of following, you kind of sometimes get under that pressure feeling. Sometimes we
Yeah,
call it our ego that's saying like, oh, if I do this, I'm really going to take off or something.
well, it already took off because that video was one of the first that he did. And he said it's only 4 days and it has so many views because everybody is sharing it, because he is sharing a lot of truths. And but when you then line up with people that already have been proven to lie about anything and everything, you're not doing yourself a service. So all
Yeah.
I told him, research first. So,
Yeah. There was somebody that started, like we were talking about when I got on, was Facebook. I don't know, like, or I feel like I'm getting bots or just kind of strange comments, like directly, like messages. And so I just haven't been responding to them. But this is like my first go around at Facebook, really. But also saw a picture of General Flynn with somebody too, like doing a podcast with them. And I was like, I don't know, but anymore, I've kind of tried to get out of that cycle of who's good, who's not good, and what's really happening and all that stuff. And more just really try to focus on things that I do have control over. And that's, what I eat and what I do spiritually, and learning the Bible, and just trying to be that light that the world really needs right now. And of course, as I see things that come, like the Georgia Guidestones, those are like the big flags I'm looking for. But I guess I kind of got a little tired of following the breadcrumbs. But yeah, but I just feel like this is really my path where I want to be. So I see things and stuff, but I just don't want to follow that so much closely anymore.
your life is what it needs to be, and whatever happens, happens anyway. I mean, I don't want to sound like, oh yeah, we don't do anything and we just wait and see, but that is what it is. And in the meantime, what is important that we do is we spread the truth to, about what we need to eat, how to be healthy. I just got I asked somebody who told me that they wanted to know about diabetes. I think it was about her father, and he is watching his diet. So I was curious, what is the diet? And there was nothing what this gentleman eats that is helping his, from diet Pepsi or Coke to chicken to what was it, mandarins without sugar. And I'm thinking that is canned food. There was no fruit in it at all. And we keep coming back that even doctors tell you if you have diabetes you cannot eat fruit. Like, okay, fruit is the cause of diabetes, but the crazy thing is all these people with diabetes, they never ate fruit. So how the heck is that even possible? Where are people coming from and even believing that? I'm stunned. And I was diagnosed as a diabetic type 2 20 years ago. And the only way, and I was thinking I was on a healthy diet, I did from keto to, although that was not long, to raw vegan, but I was still eating the fats. And I had readings over 200 and I was not feeling well. You get this jittery feeling inside. And I'm always aware of that because having a heart attack twice is you don't want ever to happen that again. And and then it was like I got on the all fruit, and lo and behold, my readings were like in the 80s, and never happened before. Well, maybe before I was considered a diabetic, but then you don't test, so you don't know. But the only way for me to keep it under control and feel fine is all fruit. And yeah, maybe, you can have a salad once in a while, but no fats. For me, it's not no avocados, no cooked foods, all that stuff. But it has nothing to do with fruit. So, and this is probably the diet that a doctor gave him. And I remember when I had a broken femur, I was in the hospital, and the food they put in front of me, I was like, well, time to fast because this is not going to work. And I told them, if I eat that, it raises my blood sugar. They said, oh, that is no problem. We just give you some insulin. I'm like, oh, gosh.
I know. Whenever I'm in the hospital with somebody or visiting, which, I was with my stepdad a lot, and they would bring out the food, I'd be like, what is this? Like, what are you doing? And then, of course, I'd fight him. Then, of course, he'd fight me back. And then I would fight like with the nurses and the doctors. And at the end of the day, it was, well, are you a doctor? And well, no, thank God I'm not. Thank God I did drop out of med school. And thank God I did not take that route, because then I would be responsible for countless of people dying up by my hands as well. And, I don't know, that is one thing about me too, is I went for pre-med and then finished that up and started, and I just sat there and thought to myself, like, I don't know what it was. It was a very overwhelming feeling of, I don't want to do this. And I really don't. And so I stopped. And then thankfully I did. And then I met a naturopathic doctor who did help my son and everything throughout the years. But I was sitting there in her house one day because she would see people in her home, and her husband's out there making, like chicken and just regular stuff, the typical standard American diet. And I thought to myself, like, this doesn't feel right. Either you're eating this, but you're prescribing, hundreds of dollars worth of herbs and tinctures and things that you make. I mean, I couldn't leave her house probably without $300, leaving her there with that. And then I was going to take, because she sent me all her courses and everything too, and I was going to go to her school. And it never panned out either. And so I just keep thinking, thankfully along that path. And of course, when you're in it, it doesn't make sense. And you keep thinking, why am I not finding my path, my journey? And it was because maybe I wasn't open to all that yet. And then now that I feel like I have found something that very much resonates with me, I feel like this is the way, and it's simplicity. So every time I'm there, I get so frustrated and I get so mad that everybody's like, well, you're not a doctor. And I just think to myself, thank God I'm not an MD.
You are exactly correct. I got to a point a few years ago when I was training with Dr. Morse, and maybe I need to take it to the next step and become a naturopath doctor. And then I know what the course material is, and there is a lot you do not want to learn because it is a lot of the regular medical allopathic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked myself, why do I want to be a doctor? And it was like so that people believe what I am saying.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this is crazy. This is crazy. I'm not going to waste my time on that. And if they need to learn it, they will come to me anyway. It's not that I have to build up with the credentials of being a doctor. It's like, life and what we learned, it's all common sense. And the more you see it and the more that I can help people seeing it, then it's all clear. It's not, you are your own doctor. You are the one who is in control of your life, not a doctor, not a white coat. And they can tell you anything they want, and you are supposed to listen to them and take their word for granted, and they're not even doing it. So it's like, I had a naturopath physician, and very nice man. He had a practice. He was already in his early 80s, I think. He had a practice with his son. His son had a heart attack when he was in his early 50s. And they had classes with, it was a biblical diet, a lot of meat in it, a lot of fats in it. And he had shown it to me, and he said, well, I want you to go to these classes so you learn about eating healthy. And I was like, no, thank you. They both died, I think, within a few months of each other's, and all their clients was like, okay, and now what? So it's like, and this was a naturopath, and the times that I came there, and it was actually because I had a huge abscess behind my ear, like grapefruit size. That was scary. That was really scary. That was before I met Dr. Morse. I mean, this is already 9 years ago. And he was like, you have to go on antibiotics because otherwise you only have 20% chance of surviving this. And he even got his son there, and, both looking at it. And it was like, to me, I think it was just a cyst. It was an blocked lymph node. And yeah, I was very acidic. So that was the time that I was really sick. And I did go, he scared me. I did go eventually on the antibiotics. The first one didn't work. The second round didn't work. The third round didn't work. All in all, I was 2.5, 3 months on antibiotic. And then it went away. And it left me wondering, if I had not taken it, would it have gone away on its own? Maybe, we don't know. And that is always, I always wonder myself, if I hadn't done anything, would it have solved itself? Because the body is a 24/7 healing machine if you give it a chance.
It is.
And it was before I knew that the thing you need to do is fast, fast for a week and see, if it's getting better. And it probably would have, because the body would have taken care of it. Now, please, for anybody listening to this, I am not telling you to do what I did, as in taking the antibiotics. I'm not telling you either to not take them. This is something that you really, really have to decide on your own. And but I would, next time that something would happen to me, I would fast. I would go on an all water fast, not a dry fast, just an all water fast, at least for 3 to 7 days. And see, and see what happens. But I do have to say, and I heard Dr. Moore saying that, and I'm sorry that I don't know which video it was, because I listened to new ones and old ones. And he actually said there is a time for, rarely, but there is a time for antibiotics, and he didn't explain it further.
Well, there's also a good time when to go to the hospital too, and when there's not, like, you have broken arm, broken leg.
Well, yeah, when something is broken.
But like if you have like I mean, even before I knew all of this, and I don't even know what my opinion is on this right now, but how it had always been to me was, our medicine is great when it's not overused. And that was always something that was very much in our family. You did not take something unless you had already tried, the hot shower, the resting, get some sleep, and stuff like that. And if it still didn't go away, then, okay, go ahead and take something. But you had to try and give your body time to do something with it first before we would. We were never one of those like, even still in school, people, if my son is, I call him in out of school and I'm like, he's going to stay home. He's not feeling so well. They said, did you get a doctor's note? Well, I don't take him to the doctor just because he's sneezing. I don't take him to the doctor because he had a fever last night and now he doesn't. Or we don't run to the doctor for anything. So we've always been very strong with that. And like I said, I don't know where I stand right now because I've kind of left the medical side behind in my life. So like amoxicillin or something like that, I have no idea what that really truly does. But supposedly, which I don't know if we've been lied to, that's the other thing. If you're really, really sick with a bad infection, can that help or not? So I'd always just been a person that was, don't overuse anything ever. And if you ever need to use it, then it'll work immediately for you. Saying all that, I don't know if that's where I still stand to this day. Like, I would probably still never take an antibiotic right now or give my child one either.
No, and I think we are at a point now with our health that it wouldn't come up. We're already so far in eating the right foods that it doesn't come up. Although I had a bad fall with my knee, and I can barely put any weight on it. That fall was earlier this year. I mean, early in the year. And now I cannot stretch my leg and it hurts. I can barely put weight on it. So I need to walk with a cane. And it's absolutely no fun. And I'm like, oh my God, should I do something? And yeah, the thoughts come up, maybe I do need an artificial knee. And it's like, nope, I'm not going through it. The body can take care of it. The body will take care of it as long as I put in the right fuel. And if I could not feel or think that way, then what the heck am I doing here? It's I know the body can heal. I mean, I've seen it in so many ways, but it is up to me. It's up to my mindset, my how I feel about things, my trust in the process. And I talk to people who feel they're not getting any better, but then when you look at the diet, there's always that little thing in there that should be changed. And you wouldn't think, I mean, who would have thought, even for me, we talked about this a lot, that it's the effects that avocado, the fats, have on me. Who would have thought that just one little avocado could stop all the healing and actually make things worse again? You don't think about that.
No,
and
you
I
don't.
think, yeah, and that happens to so many people. They say, yeah, but I'm 90% fruits. It's not about the 90% fruit. It's always not about what you're putting in it. It's about what you're leaving out. And maybe that 10% needs to be left out for you to be able to heal. But then you think, yeah, well, it's only 10%. I mean, how much can that hurt? How much can that harm you? Well, I know how much it can harm.
Is that the 10% tithing as well too? Because I know we all get confused on what tithing really is.
Yeah.
It's not giving the money.
Yeah. I see the Free Melon Society has mentioned Eli Marther. Yeah, he is absolutely amazing. He goes in a lot of talks a lot about a lot of different things. It's not only food, and it's always interesting. I didn't find him until maybe 6 months ago, and we have talked about him here. And he's I love listening to him, and he is a fruitarian in Canada. He lives in Canada in the cold area, and he talked about it. And it's actually one of the videos that I posted in the fans group, the Dr. Morse fans group. Is like, what does it matter if it's a cold around you for you to eat what you need to eat? So if it's cold outside, then you need to have hot meals. I mean, where is that coming from? It's like, no, you don't really. You can still eat your fruits. And someone in Canada was actually surprised when I told her, when she was complaining about the bad fruits, and I was so lucky to be in Florida. And I'm like, well, yes, but if I go to the grocery stores and they have a big organic section, I pretty much get the same fruits that you do. as the people do in Canada. It doesn't have a great taste. It's like, you gotta be lucky to have good oranges, and they never come from Florida. If I go to the farmers market, there are a few farmers there, but they have mostly veggies, not fruits, that is locally grown. There is another big one. They get it from Georgia or wherever it's coming from, but it's not locally grown, or it is non-organic. Now, there is a thing with non-organic, locally grown. Talk to the farmer and find out what he is using. Because on the farmers market, what we see here a lot, and they have these big stands with all the fruit, it comes from the big commercial farmers. It's not from a small farmer. So you have to be careful with what you buy, and who the farmer is, and how they handled everything. And if I go to, what is it, Punta Gorda, Sarasota, that area on the coast, Gulf of Mexico, there are a few farmers, but they only have, fruit in season. So the mangoes is a short season. Oranges, I don't think I ever had an Florida orange. And the funny thing is, when I was as a child growing up in the Netherlands, I'm talking about the 50s now, we got these Florida oranges, and they were wrapped in that beautiful like crap paper. And I always saved them. They were so beautiful. And those were the oranges from Florida. But right now, I mean, it's oranges around me everywhere. Big orange industry here. It all goes into the juices, that you find in the store. All of them. All these big names, they all come from Florida.
What a
But the
shame.
oranges we eat here, they come from California.
That makes so much sense.
Yes, and if you want to, I have been looking to buy an organic orange tree. Not allowed to be sold here.
Really?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Wow. Well, also keep in mind what I was going to say is the farmers market. A lot of the farmers, it costs a lot of money to be certified organic, and there's a lot of pressure on them to maintain that certification. So just talk to your farmer, like Toni was saying, and see what they do, because they could be very much organic, but they're just not going to be certified organic.
And that is okay, if as long as you know what they are using. Because sometimes with the certified, what is it? USDA certified organic, I can put some question marks there sometimes.
No, it's
Big
the same
industry, it's a big
certified
money maker.
FDA approved.
Yeah, big money makers. So yeah,
it is. It really is. Yeah, and also, I mean, stuff might not taste so good, but does it not taste so good because your taste buds are still messed up? Or is it really just not really good fruit? And
that is a good one too.
Yeah, at this point, we are eating to live, not living to eat anymore.
Jacob, you got what growing? An orange tree? Yeah, it's our taste bud absolutely changed. That is when I mentioned last week that for me to be pretty much addicted to avocados, and oh my gosh, I love to eat it so much. And 2 weeks ago, I was like, yuck. Don't like them any. Don't like the taste. So yeah, your taste is changing.
And I've said a bunch of times is my throat feels like it's swelling every time I have an avocado. So my body must not like him, or I'm not ready for him yet. One or the other.
Well, I told you guys about the I have an avocado tree in a pot for 6 years. In 6 years time, it did not grow 1 inch.
Oh, jeez.
It had flowers. It did not have avocados. So I think that is divine intervention.
Very well could be. Speaking of divine intervention, there's this plant growing down from my neighbor's house, and it's not my neighbor's, it's over by my mom's, and I'm like, what is that growing over there? And as she's talking to me, like I can kind of hear she's congested and everything. And I remember seeing something because I use mullein like for cough, mucus. It helps get rid of mucus. That's what I'd always been told it was good for. So make like poultices with it and whatnot, that and calendula and fenugreek. And so as I'm hearing her talk to me, I can kind of hear that she's kind of phlegmy. And she has mullein growing in her yard. It's a huge plant. And she's like, I don't know what it was. I was just letting it grow to see what it became. And so I went over, I looked closer, and I'm like, you have mullein grown in your yard. So it's like we talked about before that if you need something, it will just appear or it will grow. But for mullein to get that size, it takes 2 years. So like she's had this thing here that she didn't touch all this time, and here she might actually need that herb. I thought that was really neat.
It is that, and I think we addressed that before. It happened to me that we bought a house. This was back in the Netherlands, and that whole yard, front and back, was covered in only one flower. And I forgot what it was. I know how it looked. It was not tall, orange. It was growing all over the place. And we bought it in December, and so it was still, it came up that year. The year after, it was all gone. And other flowers showed up. Stuff that I had not planted. So there is something to say for it, that the herb that you need will grow right where you are. And I do have, if I see that a certain weed, it's just another herb, another plant that shows up, I have to look at it, and it's like, maybe this is something that I could use or that I need right now. Because it's not all the time that the same plant grows there. And you would think of it, especially with weeds, that it grows there one year, it grows there the other year. Not true.
No.
So that is where I found nature so amazing.
It is. If we just stop and pay attention, it'd be amazing what we see. We've been mowing our pasture these last 2 days, and it's definitely a process, but the whole entire time I've been mowing, I keep smelling this like sweet weed or sweet herb, or I don't know what it is. So I'm definitely gonna have to go look it up to see what it is. But then it makes me just wonder, like, am I supposed to have this, or is this going to affect me? I don't know.
That if either you could use it, or somebody in your household, or your pets. I definitely had a lot of oh my God, what is it? Nettle, stinging nettle, and dandelions all over the place. And I let them grow, because I'm not the one to pull them out like you don't belong here. My neighbors, of course, absolutely didn't like that at all. And now we know the benefits of both, with the stinging nettle and the dandelion.
Yeah, absolutely. Debbie says that she's heard that a lot of our veggies and fruits have been sprayed with something so that we can't grow them from seed, and that she has tried to grow them, but with no luck.
Yeah, it is. It happens, and it happens even with organic stuff. So that is why I rather have non-organic local than organic, from the big industry, because we know it even with bananas, organic bananas, they get sprayed. And I've heard it about oranges too.
Yep.
So I never washed my organic oranges, and I'm like, maybe I should. I do have to say that most of the oranges I buy lately, although right now I can't even get oranges or lemons, but they all have seeds. So that is actually a good thing. But yeah, it's things are being messed up, and I think it's gotten worse in the last 2 years actually. Because I think 5 years ago, the fruit was tasting a lot better than it does now. And this fruitarian got so widespread already, and so many more people are buying fruits, that something could be done of it. I'm not a conspiracy thing at all.
Nope, nor am I.
Not at all.
I believe everything they tell me. There was Something about fasting also too. I'm trying to find that comment about fasting with the moon phases. I'm definitely not a faster. Like, I do not fast. I do, like, juice fasting, but I've never done a dry fast before. So maybe Toni can talk to that.
And not in the relationship to the moon, because I never paid attention to it.
Mm-mm.
I more paid attention to when my body was ready, or actually my mind was ready for it. And the only long dry fast, long 24 hours, 26 hours long, that was long for me. Dry fast I did was when I had food poisoning.
Mm-hmm.
And I ate something that my body absolutely did not like. And I was the only solution was rest, stay in bed, and don't eat anything, and just see how it goes. So after the 24, or I don't remember, 24, 26 hours, I did 3 hours, 3 hours, 3 days on water, and then I got back to the fruit.
Mm-hmm.
And first the juices, and then to eat fruit again, and I was fine.
My husband, when he has stomach upset of any kind, he chugs water like crazy. And then, yes, he is in the bathroom, but he will chug the water, and he says, I don't know, just like it forces whatever's in there out and whatever. So that's what he does. And then, of course, he does try not to eat anything, but
Yeah, but it would be interesting to, when you feel that you're ready for a fast, water fast or dry fast, to see what the moon phases are. And it's not that you see what the moon is and then consciously go into a fast, or if your mind lines up with the moon phases. That would be interesting,
it would be.
because that would be the natural way.
Mm-hmm. I'm always telling people, and this is just what I think, we'll let Toni chime in after I'm done, but I never tell anyone to fast, because in my mind, immediately, I think their kidneys probably aren't good enough. They're not filtering properly. So what is the fast really going to help do for you? That's kind of where my mind always goes. What do you think about that?
Well, it's actually, the fast helps you opening up your kidneys. How the chemical part of that works, I don't know. This is
Okay.
where I say, okay, go to listen to Dr. Morse. I should listen to Dr. Morse and know exactly how it works. I will do that, by the way.
Okay.
But it is, if you have stubborn kidneys like I do, then fasting, especially a dry fast, not longer than 36 hours, that at the most, because that is still safe, then your kidneys will probably open up and start filtering better.
Okay.
So, but I do see there are people that do it out of the blue. They come from an what is it, a standard American, or actually a standard diet, because it's not American, it's all over the world, Asian countries. The diet is just as bad as it is here now.
Yeah.
And but you have to carefully ease into it. It's crazy to do it from the standard diet and then do a dry fast. You first go in, you first eliminate the meat and the dairy and the eggs, and then you go more fruit, and then you leave the cooked out. So give it time. And that is the same with all these detox plans that everybody has. Okay, I do a 1 hour on a 1 week detox thing. And it's like, I talked to the lady on Comcast. I was talking to her about the podcast we do, and we started talking about detoxing, and she said, oh yeah, I do a healing detox for 7 days. And I am like, people then have expectations, like, yeah, I'm healed after 7 days, and now I can go back to eating the pastas and whatever, all the food we already know is not good for us.
Mm-hmm.
So it is, it doesn't work that way. You have to ease in. You can do it fast. You can do, it's easy enough for me. I have to say, it was easy enough to leave out meat, dairy, and eggs. That was easy.
Mm-hmm.
Cooked food was the next thing. It wasn't that bad. You can do it in a few weeks, but plan your fast, and go from eating fruit to fruit juice, and then water juice, then go into a dry fast. Or what you can do, that is another way, is and that is actually the easiest way, get your body used to eating within a certain time frame. Do not eat between like 5, 6 in the evening until 10, 11, or 12 o'clock the next day. Then you have your nightly dry fast. Start with 12 hours, then make it 14, 16 hours, and prolong it until that you can reach the 24 hours, 36 hours. But then still, you only do it, of course, when you start transitioning to another diet. I don't think if you are a heavy meat eater, and your dairy and your eggs, and then do the dry fasting, I don't know how that works. I don't even want to think about how that works, because I think you keep putting more acidity in your body, and then it has to deal with that. It has to deal with all these toxins. So I would say, ease into it. You can take, a month to do that. You can take 6 months to get to that point.
And what are you going to break your fast with?
What do you think?
Yep. Fruit juice.
Juicy fruits. Yeah.
Yep. There was another question that I actually did have. What about people that have taken Benadryl for years to help sleep, and then also people that take melatonin? I've always heard that if you take melatonin, your body will no longer produce melatonin.
That is the first
That's the same thing with the Benadryl?
Yeah, and that's the first thing that Dr. Morse would say. If you keep taking it, your body quits making it. Now, with melatonin, that is something that your body makes. Benadryl, it's just it suppresses certain things. And I don't know much. I know the name, but I don't know much about Benadryl.
Yeah.
I do know that if you have sleep issues, check your diet first, and see if you have a pituitary or a pineal gland weakness, because that is often the case, and that needs to be.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, that always needs to be addressed first. But the thing is, if you start, if you kept distracting me. If you start changing your diet, your sleep is changing also. So what is the use of keep taking like Benadryl or melatonin to sleep, and you don't address the diet? Diet always comes first.
Yep.
Change the diet and then see, what else you need. Do you need the herbs? Do you need to address the kidneys? What are good ways to get your kidneys to filter? I think I mentioned it before. I heard that when I was working with, her name is Alexandra White. We had done a podcast with her, and she told me about, and she has been on this journey years longer than I am. And she told me about parsley juice in the morning, and do that for a week, 2 weeks, not longer. And that is one way to get your kidneys to filter. You don't need to choke down like 16 ounces, but 6 to 8 ounces. Try it out. And so but it is always diet first. Don't complain if you keep eating the wrong stuff and it's not working.
Is pituitary responsible for our height as well?
Yes, it's for growth.
Yep. So then I would assume that it's down because they are smaller than the rest of their family.
Yeah, it is, and you can still help the pituitary even as an adult. I mean, I have a pituitary weakness. I was way too tall. It's not about just staying short. It's also about growing too fast. When I was 12 years old, I was 5'9". And I'm still, well, I was going to say I'm still 5'9". No, I shrunk. When I was, I had to check it out, and then they said, no, you're 5'5", and I was like, oh no, I'm not. It's just because I couldn't stretch my knee. I'm 5'9". But anyway, too tall and too short. That is, I think Dr. Morse puts it like between 5'5" and 5'7", 5'8". But it's not, 5'9" is not necessarily tall. I'm not tall now, but as a 12-year-old, oh my God, compared to the rest, I was huge.
Mm-hmm. All the women in my family are 5'10".
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, my sister is like 5'5", 5'4", 5'5", maybe. So she is very petite. My brother is 6'5". So we have, in our household, we have them in all sizes.
Yeah. All the men are very tall too. We even had so it would be my great uncle was 7 foot. So very tall, but I did not get that gene. So maybe my pituitary's down as well. I'm only 5'3". So
yeah, it could be. And another thing that I had, and they said it was normal, was these really, really bad growing pains, and that is pituitary.
Mm.
But they tell you like, oh yeah, that's growing pains. That's it.
Yeah, that's what they
and
do.
then it's like they don't relate it to the pituitary, and if they could relate it to the pituitary, they wouldn't know what to do anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And this is because even back then it's like people were not talking about that it heals, but we accept that a cut we have heals, we accept that a broken bone heals, all of that stuff heals, and then it's like, no, the rest doesn't heal. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Katie's just saying like 5'10", but yeah, I'm not 5'10". So but like, yeah, even my son, he towers over me, and yeah, so I don't know then, like, so is my pituitary down and theirs is up, or I don't know. But the melatonin, so will your body ever start to remake it again then?
I think so, because
Okay.
if we accept that even when an thyroid is taken out and a few cells are left, or the same with the gallbladder, that it can regrow, then I would think it can work again.
Mm-hmm.
And your body starts producing again, but you have to give it time, and you have to give it the right fuel. I
Yeah.
found that on all fruit, I sleep much better, but shorter. I am, I'm wide awake at 5 or 6 o'clock, and I don't have that when I'm using or when I eat cooked food or anything with fat.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's definitely like sleepiness, feeling, and everything. There was 2 more things that are just random that I wanted to bring up because I've been seeing different little videos about these. Is when people are removing their nose hair. To me, it's like, okay, if one's like sticking out, sure, cut it off. But they're actually like putting wax in people's noses and ripping out all of their nose hair.
Yeah.
What are you thinking? Like, your nose is like your first line of defense
Yeah.
to get anything into your body.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, shaving your armpits, that's one thing, whatever. But your nose, like, you inhale stuff into your body through your nose. And you're going to rip out all those little follicles that are going to protect things from getting into your body. And I also read too that your nose hairs help warm the air before the air gets into your lungs.
Yeah.
So that way you're not inhaling cold air. So everyone that is ripping your nose hairs out, stop it.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was, I was at one of our local feed stores for I was getting shavings for the horse, and I saw some fly traps there. And so I was just reading about them. Guess what one of the main ingredients is in the poisonous fly bait trap? Dried eggs. So I was like, So you mean to tell me that they're using these eggs in here to attract the flies in there? So again, it's like anything bad, eggs attract everything bad. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but then I do wonder why women have less nose hairs than men.
Yeah. I wonder if it could be maybe like testosterone or whatever, but I feel like we still do have the nose hairs. Maybe they're just lighter or whatnot. But again, too, like, even the women that have let their armpit hair grow, is it ever really as thick as the men's as well?
No, it's not.
That I
Well,
don't
with
know.
some women it is.
Yeah. I guess
It's
it just depends on what kind of hair you have. I mean, I could shave my legs and you can still like, or I could not shave my legs and you still can't tell. So because I have blonde hair. So
but that is something that when we grew up, and shaving your legs, that was crazy. I mean,
mhm,
that's and I'm like, I'm always wearing pants, so why should I shave my legs?
mhm.
And it's very light, so I don't worry about it. But
I
it was a thing that wasn't done. That came from the U.S. That was not done in Europe.
yeah.
We did not hear about it until 70s, 80s. I mean, only in the 80s I started shaving armpits, but not before that.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
and I've done it maybe so many times, like everybody else. I barely have any hair growing here, so it's like,
Mhm. Depending on situations, I know this sounds really weird too, maybe TMI, but if I'm gonna get into the ocean, I definitely don't shave my legs. One, because sometimes it can burn. But two, it's like I don't want those pores to be open. Granted, I'm not walking in like looking like my husband's legs either, but like I definitely won't shave for like maybe 2 days prior to going to the ocean. Or if I'm gonna be like any kind of like public pool or if I know that I don't know, like I think about those kinds of things where
yeah, hey, but you know what, Sarah? Then you are doing that for somebody else, not for you.
no, I mean like I don't want my pores open to allow anything to get into those pores if I'm going to be in any of those situations. This is what I mean.
Yeah, yeah,
Not necessarily I care what somebody else thinks
right,
about if I have
right.
hair on my leg or not. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, so I think about those kinds of things. Or if I know I'm going to be like at a park all day, like where we're walking around sweating, I don't want to get like that, like a rash or something that can come after you shave. And so I think about those kinds of weird things.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
have to, Katie, I was going to ask about waxing your eyebrows. Why in the world would you want to wax your eyebrows? They make your face.
Mhm.
Is it good or bad? To me, it's bad. I mean, I have I don't have these skinny eyebrows. I have eyebrows.
Mhm.
So I do have to keep them in line, so to speak, and which I do, but not with wax. Absolutely not with wax, because my skin responds to that. I've had psoriasis, and I still have spots. And when I would use wax there, yeah, my body tells me like, you're not going to do this again. So no, keep your eyebrows. You can model them, but tweezers, and yeah,
Little nail, like the nail scissors, like, you can trim them up that way too if they are a little crazy. But I don't know how old you were, Katie, but in the 90s, like there was massive overplucking done too. And then these women don't have any eyebrows anymore.
yeah,
And now
yeah.
the fad is to have eyebrows. So I've had people try to do things to me like microblading and things like that. And
Ugh,
I'm like, I don't know what the next fad's gonna be. So I'm okay. And tell you
yeah,
the truth, you
yeah.
can't see my eyebrows anyway, because like I said, I have blonde hair. So I have to actually color them in if you want to see anything.
Yeah, well, that is, oh, this is weird. Now you mentioned that. It is my hair. We talked about that last week. Is getting less gray hairs on my head,
Oh, that's
but
cool.
it is my eyebrows are almost white. And they were actually darker than the red hair on my head, and now they're white. So yeah, I do have to call it. No, I don't. I like them when they're colored. But I'm
Mhm.
always looking for the safe stuff to do that. So yeah, but these are things that they may not sound important, but they are a part of life, and we do like to look good. It gives us more, yeah, it is a self-esteem. We feel better about ourselves, and no, we shouldn't care about what other people would say, but it's there. We do care.
Mhm. Yeah, we do.
It's like even getting to the age that I am, it's like, yeah, you care less about certain things, but I still don't feel like I want to look like what is considered to be a slob.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that reminds me of my mother. Even in her 80s, she would not go outside without having her lipstick on. It was only the lipstick, which is something I've never used in my life. I hate it, hate the
Me
taste.
too. I can't
Like,
stand it.
yuck, who wants
Mm-hmm.
lipstick? But yeah, what do you mean, Grant? This sounds like a small conversation. No, it's a big thing.
I talked about the nose hairs, Grant.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say too that Charlie and I are gonna be doing a beauty show sometime soon. I'm not sure when our schedules can coincide, but hopefully we'll kind of cover all that stuff within there too. But keep in mind, we only wear makeup because the vampires told us we have to. So
Yeah.
we're all very natural. We have natural beauty. I do wear makeup. I wear a little bit of eyeshadow and some mascara just because my eyelashes are blonde as well too, and I like to be able to see them when I want to see them. But other than that, I don't wear foundation. I don't even lately, that's the other thing I was gonna say, I don't even use lotion. Or
Yeah.
I used to use coconut oil on my face, but I haven't used that in so long either. I don't know. It's just like everything natural is coming out. And I know that there was a comment on Facebook about deodorants. I did see something about using a lemon, just cut it in half and rub it on your armpit. But I'm past that transition phase, so I don't
We don't need it anymore.
really don't have any odor. And I ask people, and like people that would totally be honest with me. And I don't. I mean, it's funny.
No, we start smelling better, and as soon as you eat something that you shouldn't eat, then you smell it. You smell it yourself. It's like, oops, this is not right. And no, it doesn't smell. I said, what are you doing? But message retracted. It's like,
well, I meant to say something that it came out wrong. So our eyebrows are sisters. They're not twins, so they're not supposed to match. But it came out with our eyebrows and sisters.
Oh,
so
okay.
If your eyebrows are different, it's because they're sisters, or if they're on a man's face, they're brothers. They're not twins.
Yeah.
So they are supposed to look different
But
because
yeah, Katie, what I saw that you put in, that the eyebrows are bushy, that is what I, in a different way, try to explain what my eyebrows are. They grow, and sometimes I see very long hairs, and I just have to cut them off. But it's like, I like them the way they are. I never liked these thinning eyebrows. I once went to have them a little less bushy, and this lady, she kept plucking and plucking, and I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh my God, what happened to my face? She said, I gave you an instant facelift.
Thanks.
I had pinstripe eyebrows, and it was not my face anymore. It's like they really, you don't think about it, but eyebrows it's a very important part of your face, and it's there for a reason. Like everything is there for a reason.
They catch the sweat.
Yeah, it's not just to look pretty. They make you look better, but that is just what we used to, what we think.
Yeah, exactly.
And looks, it's mean. I yesterday I saw a gentleman. He was like 100 years old. He had all these folds in his face and in lines, and I was like, oh my God, this guy is beautiful. It's and then I look at my own face, and but then I look at my own face, and I don't want to see those lines, so I'm not there yet.
Grant wants to join in the conversation one day. So Grant, we're going to link together somehow. Send me an email and I will teach you how to join the Zoom call.
Yeah.
Dave also wants you to join in more too.
Yeah, it is like you just, we put in a link there, and you just click on the link and it should take you there.
I think if he's on a phone or an iPad, you should at least have the Zoom app downloaded.
Oh, okay.
Then I think you can do it from that way. But
yeah,
we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Oh, guys, we're already way over the hour.
Absolutely.
And we are just chit-chatting about life's truths, eyebrows,
Absolutely.
facial hair.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Thank you
Well,
all for being here. Thank you again, Sarah.
thank you,
We
Toni.
didn't get to much of your beautiful wisdom regarding to the Bible. Maybe you have something that you already laid out there and you want to share with us. Did you?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
But
Well,
I'm sure
then,
I can, you know.
then we do it. We do it without.
Well, I can't end with something then. So God gave us dominion over the earth. And what that means is we are the earth's protectors. And yet we have been brainwashed into raping the land and murdering all the animals on it. So we need to change those thoughts, and we need to start taking the true dominion over it and be the guardians of the earth, our children, our elderly, and really be those people that really are here to make that change.
Thank you.
And I'm putting, Grant wants my email, but it's just virtuousunicorns@gmail.com.
We're always easy to find. Like mine is ToniWeel@gmail.com. So it is the names that we're using here that you can use for our emails.
Yeah. Yes, love to you all. Thank you all so much, Toni. Thank you very, very
Love
much.
you, love everybody here. Till the next time, looking forward to it, and have a wonderful, wonderful week, days. Enjoy your life. It's important.
Absolutely. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Okay.